All right, thank you, man. I was like, he wasn't cracking a smile the whole way here. Plus, Cloud9 walked by earlier, and I know you understand that part, but I'm glad you're letting it sink in, man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm really happy with the results.
Yeah.
I am just a little bit personally sad today. It's actually Easter in Australia, and I've been getting a lot of my videos of my two boys doing like an Easter egg hunt and like putting on their Easter pajamas and stuff, and it's kind of just like hitting me that I haven't been home for 3 months. I haven't seen my 6-year-old son Jasper, my 3-year-old Henry. I haven't seen my partner Jenna in a very long time. So yeah, it's like one of those moments where like you put so much work and effort and commitment into everything, and then you achieve your goal, and then you remember why you're doing it at all in the first place, which for me is to support my family. So then, you have like high highs, low lows, like it just kind of sinks in.
Well, I think it's also, without this context, I think it's such an insight into what it's like being in such a performance-based career.
Absolutely.
Where everyone is just like, look at your performance.
Yeah.
You did it. With players that you picked, with guys that were, under a lot of scrutiny and under fire. This has to be the high, and just seeing you out there, just, also being a human.
Yeah, for sure.
And the sacrifice that, sometimes winning can't cover up.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm really happy with the win. And I think we also played some of the best League of Legends. We played all split. So, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm super happy with the team. I also was, like, really nervous going into today because, like, I completely acknowledge, like, how good this C9 squad can be when they hum on all cylinders. So we knew we had to give them respect. Even going into the last game, I was like, guys, like, unfortunately, when you start 2-0, you don't get, like, an extra longsword or something. The game's still 0-0-0. We have to go out there and play well against these guys. So, yeah, there is that side where, and what that does is that fills you up with adrenaline and all the positive dopamines and stuff like that. Yeah. So just like if there's other stuff going on, you do feel like the yo-yo effect a little bit.
Yeah. Who are you most proud of, impressed with the most in this series?
I mean, honestly,
who's your favorite kid?
It's so hard to like tell, right? Because like I think that who had the toughest job today was APA. Like he's playing against their best player, and I think that he was a player under the most scrutiny. And it's really easy in situations like that to play to not lose. But he played to win today.
He did.
And I think that he like traded flashes a couple of times. Game 1 when he went 1-for-1 and Fudge had to roam mid and burn flash to like kill him. I think that was actually like pivotal in the game. Like he got impact 2 plays top lane. Even second game he's like flashing forward on Jojo and Hui when he's playing Tristana, like trying to create pressure in that mid lane. So I think that the person with the toughest job today that succeeded was probably Ian. The person I'm probably most proud of is actually Impact. Coming into the split, I think everyone knows Impact's great. Like he's one of the goats of the region. Yep. He was coming off like a really disappointing year for himself from FlyQuest, and I think that he had so much like energy when he came into the team, and he was like an authoritative voice, and he wanted to really shape the team into like how he wanted to play. Yeah. And I agreed with a lot of what he said, but I needed him to bend in some areas and stuff like that. And his willingness to be able to do that, like the ability for him to get on board with a program of a first-year coach as maybe the greatest, North American player of all time. I think like I can't speak higher of like how amazing that is. And I think that today he had a superb series. It felt like he was just 1v2, 1v3 on the top side of the map most of the series and was just absolutely dominating. So I would say like probably player of the series to Impact was really deserved, but I think APA needs a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're wondering how many, Jet and I were laughing about it in our little golf piece, how many solo kills he's going to have, and had a couple there and really stepped up. Is there anything, do you feel extra affinity, and how much extra affinity do you feel to do this, to go international with Core, with Jan, guys that have been in the system for a while, and with APA, who's a young player that you plucked up?
Yeah, I mean, I drafted both APA and Jan. I got both of them I got Jan from the Riot Games Scouting Combine, and I got APA from the Team Liquid Scouting Combine, and then the person that actually helped me with the Scouting Combines was Core. So he had like direct input in how to build the roster as well. And we make no secret about it. Like Core's the captain of the team in Australian sport. Like a player has like a lot of authority in the captain position, and a lot of the time coaches can't interfere when the game is happening. So I need a voice on Summoner's Rift that like sees the game the same way I do, and that's Core. So that trio that we kept together from last year, I was really adamant when I talked to Steve and Dodo that this is a trio that I very much wanted to work with, because I knew not only are they very hard workers, which I need on my team, like I get really pissed off when people don't put effort into the grind, because that's what I do, and I expect people to be able to reciprocate that effort. But also at the same time, I needed people that I knew had that high ceiling. And, we made no excuses of our flaw. There were some games this split where we just weren't playing good enough, but we always knew the ceiling was high. So the job was to just put in the effort and make sure that we peaked at the right time. And, credit to those three guys that they've been able to do that. And, also the fact that Umpty and Impact jumped on board. But to get back to the original question, it honestly means the world to me to win with Yarn, APA, and Core. It's awesome.
With this series win, you get to go international. You're going to China, Chengdu?
Yeah, Chengdu.
Going to Chengdu for MSI. I've always thought that, as much as the super team of Cloud9 and the raw power that they have would be great there and great representatives, everyone thought that preseason. I think your team grows so much more with the new parts that you have there, guys that haven't been on the international stage for a while. What do you think are some of the benefits that these players, your players, will get by playing at MSI, and not just general stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we really discovered this when we went to Worlds, right? That the international game is so much different, and it's actually so much quicker pace. Even the slower pace regions like the LCK, they do everything small on a very, very quick pace. So we learned an absolute ton, to the point where we were trying to incorporate it into our game so rapidly that we kind of broke our own game last year, as you probably saw. So I think that that's what we'll learn. We'll learn about the pace at which we should be playing the game. I think we've sped up a lot, and I think that's great. And I think we probably could speed up a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, I think that that's what the goal is, to go international and make sure that we're playing the same brand as League of Legends as the international teams. And, then we can live with the result. But when you go there and you play a different game to them and you feel like you never stood a chance, that's when they feel really, really bad. So, our goal is to make sure that we're playing aggressively, that we're playing fast pace, and that, then we'll live with the result.
We got to see that with Golden Guardians when they went to MSI. It just felt like they beat the playing teams, but then they could never catch up with the Chinese and Korean teams. Do you feel like part of incorporating it is this, narrative that has kind of popped up since playoffs? TL fights a ton, and you guys have been so aggressive. Is that part of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, so there's different comps, right? When we play our Smolder comp with Ziggs, then we're very happy to trade for gold, and we want to extract the most gold out of the game, and we want Umpty on a jungler that can do certain things, so Yun can do certain things. So we have different styles we can play. But when we're playing Varus, Kalista drafts, when we're playing Aurelion Sol, these champions function better when people don't have flash. So the goal is fight, burn flashes, win or lose a fight, and then fight again. And I actually think we saw that in Game 3 of the Cloud9 series. They chased us down topside. We made a huge mistake. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we wanted 5 people to die there. But at no point after that were we oh my God, no, they're back in the game. It was oh, they just used every single one of their summoner spells. If we can force a team fight in the next 5 minutes, we're going to be able to clean up the game. So that's our attitude, is our willingness to take on risk so that our game can be more explosive. So I think that's been the evolution of us in playoffs, is our risk tolerance in best of series has gone through the roof. And it's actually a proponent of why I've really been against best of ones in the long run, especially when we had best of ones in academy, because you need young players to be willing to take risks where they can make mistakes, but they're going for the right play. Because if you only play best of one, it rewards playing conservatively. But if you play these best of twos, best of threes, and you go for the right play but make an individual mistake or a team mistake, then you have another shot to run it back in Game 2 and 3. And I think that we've just been leveling up from that experience of best ofs the entirety of playoffs. That
makes a lot of sense. We feel like NA has sent a lot of solid KDA kind of players, and then that's why the pace of play, the mistakes that Eastern teams make, don't get punished as hard, because we're oh look, we're ahead in gold for now, or we're ahead in whatever for now, and not hey, we got to step on them.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's 2 things that we've tried to do when we've gone internationally. We've tried to pick scaling and then we get blown out in the early game, or we've tried to be very active from level 1, but we kind of overdo it, and then if they just hold down the fort, then they eventually outscale. And what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to play kind of a mixture of both styles, which means that, again, you have to add risk into the game. League of Legends is not a game you can win by doing nothing anymore. Riot has just made Void Grubs, Dragon Soul, how strong Baron is, Elder Dragon, global blue buff, global red buff. All of these things just mean that you have to have willingness to play the game at the moment.
December, January, whenever you guys finally put this roster together, realized, okay, moving on from a couple players, have options in other roles. Okay, here's our roster. What was the peak that you saw this team making?
No, I thought we would win, to be honest. Like, I said to Steve, like...
That's a little crazy. That's not crazy. That feels crazy.
Nah.
You knew what they were putting together over Cloud9 and Black West.
Yeah, no, I knew that. But maybe I'm an idiot, to be honest. But, like, I looked at our guys, and I'd seen the offseason that Yon and APA had in Korea, and I was like, oh, well, these guys are going to keep leveling up. And then I knew we were bringing back Impact, and I was like, well, fucking Impact is insane. Like, that's maybe the best signing. Like, I think people slept on how big it was bringing Impact back to Team Liquid, to be completely honest. Having Impact and Core on the same team means that you have complete direction through every stage of the game. And I think that bringing him back was awesome. And then when I first met Umpty on the call, and I think there's interviews about it, like, I really enjoyed his personality because I'm a super serious guy.
Yeah.
And he's super lighthearted and can add that kind of environment, this spark to make people laugh, to like make people forget about stuff for a little bit. So I really valued that. So I thought our ceiling was we could win. And then the thing is like, again, maybe it sounds arrogant, but like I trust myself to bring the ceiling out of players. Like I always say, like as a coach, I'm not the smartest League of Legends mind in the world. That's not what my job is. You know, that's why I've got people like Rain over people like Hatham helping out. But my job is to get the most out of the young men that have been put in front of me. And, you know, the clash you have sometimes is, you know, that's in and out of game. You know, we have like policies on being late. We have policies on, you know, dress code and what we wear to scrims. Like I'm a very strict and serious guy, but what I think that does is that makes a unit that then is willing to go out there and sacrifice themselves for the team or to take on responsibility of themselves for the team. And I think that that's what I wanted to be able to do. I wanted to hold each individual accountable, and I think that we did that well, and now we've kind of peaked at the right time.
Two more. We'll start with the first one. TL fans, what'd you like to say to them?
I mean, thank you so much. Honestly, like, I think that Team Liquid fans have a really, really good balance of going for the jugular when they think there is an apparent issue, which is good because, you know, you want those kind of fans because that means they're passionate. Yeah. Because then when on the flip side that you do well, they come out of the woodwork and they're so celebratory of the team as well. So I'm a huge like fan in a lot of sports as well. And I'm like that as well. Like when my team is playing bad in sports, I'm one of the angriest fans ever. But when they're playing well, then, you know, I really respect and appreciate the work and effort that goes in. So I would say, like, thank you so much to the Team Liquid fans. Like, I mean, we couldn't do it without you. You know, the reason that great brands like Honda, Alienware want to come on board is because we do have the best fan base, I think, in the LCS and maybe in esports. So, yeah, we definitely hear you and see you, and hopefully we've done you proud. And then finally, let's end it where we started. What do you like to say to your family that obviously have been very supportive and understanding of the work that you've put in, and you could see the toll that, I mean, literally see the toll that it takes on you, despite, you know, one of the happiest moments that people would think that you would have. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've got them tattooed on me. My first son was Jasper Fox, which is why I've got a fox here. My second son is Henry Michael, which is why I've got the Archangel Michael on here. Yeah. And then I've got planets tattooed all over me because my sons love planets. So I feel like I carry them. They're on my left arm because that's the side of my heart, you know? So I carry them everywhere with me, but I'll be home soon. I go home Monday, LA time. I land on Wednesday, Australia time. And I cannot wait to see them and just hold my boys. It's going to be great. Jake Spawn Tiberi, everyone, now the most successful caster turned competitive side talent in the space, going international and one step away from an LCS championship. Congratulations, man. No worries. Thank you so much. Cheers, brother. Cheers. I'm so proud of you. Thanks, man. I know you don't need it from me, but, you know, it's just always great to watch and see the peers. Yeah. But also see the human, you know? Yeah. It's been a good split. I just hope we really beat FlyQuest tomorrow.